Hi guys, welcome to the Home Recording Studio YouTube channel. My name's John and today we're going to look at composing high energy hip hop tracks like this one. Let's have a listen. So I think you get the idea. It's very much 90s inspired. It's upbeat. It's inspired by artists such as Fatboy Slim, DJ Shadow. It uses very much vintage type samples, so funk and soul samples. Before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to my friend Stevie B from the Production Music Academy. He has recently done a training course on producing this kind of music. So I'll give a link to Stevie B's site and his YouTube channel. And also, if you want to have a look at his track breakdown from one of his tracks that he's created, then I'll put that link somewhere up there. Okay, so you've heard the track that I'm working on at the moment. I'll just break down what we've got going on and show you some of the sounds that I've used, because this type of track, it's all about sample selection and getting that vintage sound, but also giving it a modern twist with some of our production techniques. So first of all, let's have a look at the drums. Now the drums I am triggering from Arcade, which is a plugin by Output. This is the main plugin window that you can see here, but this is just one of many different types of sound that you can use. Now I'm not going to go fully into everything that Arcade has got to offer, but you can see quickly here that there are a lot of different sample choices, and you're able to download the particular kit, and that way you can use the samples within your DAW. And they're all triggered by MIDI keyboards. So getting back to this particular sound for the drums, this is from the Drum Breaks line of samples. This particular patch is called Got the Shakes, and as you'll see, hopefully you'll be able to see my hands at the keyboard as well. I'm just triggering samples from the keys. Now, just so I don't get latency, I'm just going to switch Logic into low latency mode, which means you do sometimes get a drop in volume, so I'll just compensate for that. Okay, so if I hold down a key, it plays the whole sample. Some of these are fills. You can hold down modifier keys as well for more effects. But basically I've kept it quite simple here, and I'm just kind of playing a drum pattern. Sometimes I'm holding the key down, sometimes I'm playing it like it's like a one-shot sampler, so something like this. It's the kind of thing that DJ Shadow did on his first album, Introducing, but he was triggering all that from a hardware sampler. So that was the drum sound I went for, but I actually started off by creating a loop of some brass sounds. So let's just have a listen to that. And let's just hear that without any of the plugins that I've got going on. So I chopped that up a little bit, done a bit of EQing, so taken out a lot of the low frequencies and mid-low frequencies. We've got an RC20, which is creating a bit of a vinyl effect, and we've got a good Hertz 2P tube tape plugin, which is again giving it that vintage sound. And then finally I've got a one knob filter, but I only use that in the breakdown. So yeah, that all adds to the vintage flavour of that sample. Now, if you're wondering where I got this sample from, I use ADSR Sounds for quite a lot of my samples, and they have a great sample manager application. Here I keep all my samples that I've downloaded. I think I bought this one as a single sample. Yeah, and then I just chop that up in Logic. So back to the rest of the track. Let's have a look next at some of the vocal samples. So for the vocal samples, I used a mixture of ADSR Sound samples and also some samples from Arcade again. So if we just have a look at some of these sounds that I used. So this line is called Hooked, and Hooked is full of great vocal samples. This particular patch is called Woo. So it was just a mixture really of, I think, mostly female vocals. Boost that a bit. I think I only ended up using maybe 3 or 4 of these samples. I did also use some vocal samples from ADSR Sounds, so let's have a listen to this one. Oh, yeah. These were more male vocal samples. Yeah, so that just mixes it up a little bit, because as you will hear with this type of music, it's very repetitive, so you have to keep people's interest by bringing in new samples, changing things up a bit. Yeah, so there's some scratch samples from ADSR Sounds. So there's a couple of sound packs that I got from ADSR Sounds which work really well with this type of music, and they are vocal rap battle vocals, or battle rap vocals. Also there is a street styles rap, so both of those are really good for scratching and rap hip hop vocal samples. Now back to the final samples that I've used here, and they are actually spoken word samples, and it's actually from the show Ozzie and Harriet, so let's have a quick listen.
Come on, let's enjoy it. Put on a couple of records.
Okay. Oh, it's beautiful.
So these kind of samples, I suppose they add to the fun nature of these tracks, because they're supposed to be fun and upbeat, yeah, they just work really well with this style of music. So you can find these type of samples to download on the Internet Archive. Yeah, so this is the Internet Archive, and you can find all sorts on here, and most of it is copyright free, and you can use it without any issues. You just need to check whatever license is attributed to the music or sounds that you're trying to download. So yeah, there's a whole load of material on the Internet Archive which is basically public domain, and I believe the Ozzie and Harriet shows were from the Radio Show and Programs Archive. So you can find all sorts in here, and you can spend a lot of time looking through shows just to pull out 1 or 2 lines that you're going to use, but it's well worth doing, and it's quite fun to do, so that's something I would recommend trying out. Back into Logic now, and there's just a couple of extra tracks to show you. So there's an electric piano sound, which started off as a Lounge Lizard plugin, but I bounced it down to audio, so let's just have a listen to that. So again, with this one, I tried to make it as vintage as possible, putting it through various effects, and the final effect that I've got on here is called Movement. Again, it's another great little plugin for just really getting creative with sounds, and this particular patch is called Flutter Crunch. Then I think the final track that I haven't showed you yet is an electric guitar, and this is just me playing my Fender Telecaster electric guitar, and it's quite a simple sort of funky line, so listen to that. And again, I use the movement plugin just to add interest to it. Again, the Flutter Crunch patch for that one. But I highly recommend having a go with this type of music. It's quite popular for stock music and sync licensing if you are into that. If not, it's just a fun genre to play with if you've never done so before. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. We'll have one last listen to this track. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see any of my future videos, please subscribe to the channel. I've got one last little favour to ask. I'm going to put a link below in the description to Output Arcade. This is my personal link, so if you use this and then do decide to sign up to the monthly subscription service for Arcade, then it does help me out because I get a little bit of discount on my subscription. You can get a 1 month free trial, so you don't have to jump straight into the paid subscription, and if you use that link, like I say, it just helps me out a little bit, so I appreciate that. And yeah, if you want any more information on home recording, then head over to my website, which is thehomerecordingstudio.com. I'll see you next time. Take care. Stay tuned for more content in the future.